Hello, it's me. Hello, witches and pagans. Welcome back to the Ruben Lyron Healer channel. I am your host, Ruben Lyron Healer, and in this video I will be talking about tapping into the different types of energies and getting really specific with energy work. So if this sounds like something that you're interested in, then please do stick around. And also there are lots more videos like this one on my channel, so please do show the channel some love, give it a subscription, give it a like, comment, share, the whole shebang. So thank you for taking some time to watch. So without wasting too much time, let's get directly into it. When we're talking about energy, there's three main categories which are recognized. Although there's infinite forms of energy, so don't get me wrong, there is infinite forms of energy out there. So there's energy in there's a microcosm and macrocosm. So there's what as within, so without, and as above, so below, all of that. So as witches, as magical practitioners, we do recognize various forms of energies, and we enjoy tapping into them in different sorts of ways. When you want to work with energy, it's a good idea to know what you're doing, and basically it ties in with what I was saying in the last video. In the last video I was talking about the magician's or witch's pyramid, or the 4 powers of Magus. So I'll just say the witch's pyramid. So last week I was talking about the witch's pyramid, and the witch's pyramid is to know, to will, to dare, and to be silent. So these are things which help us to connect with our personal power and to help magic to work at its finest. A couple of things we can do. So the number one on defining types of energy. So number one is personal power. So our personal power, what is this? So it's in the name. So the personal power, our personal power is the energy that emanates already within us. So we don't need to draw from anything else in nature, or from the cosmos, or from spirit. So the personal power, it's already within us. So saying that, it is easily sapped out of us. So like basically when you're, if we have burnout, if we're not looking after ourselves properly, if we're not recharging, if we're not spending time in nature, if certain things such as like sunbathing or even sun gazing as well, that's a lesser known one. So just spending time in the sun, absorbing the energy of the sun. So the sun is literally the center of our solar system. So that is like, I want to say, the most important energy in our solar system, because the sun is the life giver. I'm not trying to discredit the other elements and the other planets, because everything has its own important place, but the sun is very central to life and to magic and spirituality even. So that being said, number one is tapping into your personal power. So there's certain actions we can do to be able to recharge our personal power. So things like chanting, dancing, yoga, breath work, meditation, channeling, speaking soul songs, chanting, spell casting, light language, tapping into light codes. So if some of these things are stuff that you've not heard about before, or you're unsure of how you'd go about doing those things, then do stick around, because I am planning about talking in more depth about a lot of these subjects. So please do let me know in the comments if there's a particular subject that you would like to hear about, and I will try my best to get round to that sooner rather than later. Okay. Number 1, personal power. So submerging in water is another one which helps recharge us, revitalise us. Oh, it was so cool. I actually did this the other day. So after a cacao ceremony, I went and submerged myself in a reservoir. So this reservoir was like 100 feet deep, and I'm not the most confident swimmer, but it was an incredible experience, because I also don't like the cold, and submerging yourself in a body of water in England, it's not very warm here. So if you're watching from elsewhere, then you can have a good giggle about that. If you're watching from the UK, then you feel me and you understand, because it is usually wet or cold over here. Although we are coming up to summer, so my birthday in August is usually quite lovely. And then again, we are in May. The end of May usually is quite nice here as well. But I'm going off on a tangent. So that's number 1. So number 1 is all about our personal power. So that is the first energy that we need to be aware of. Then moving on from that, we're moving into divine energy, into cosmic energy, divine or cosmic energy, whichever label you want to give it. So it's all the same thing. So divine, cosmic energy. So it's energy which is elevated from ourselves. It's coming from above us, from a higher source. Often why we do refer to spirit as source as well. So number 2, the second type of energy is divine energy. So where does this divine or cosmic energy come from? So it can come from a number of places, but the most obvious place for this energy to come from is the divine. You probably guessed it. So I have gathered a couple of statues here. So how might you go about tapping into divine energy? Well, it's quite simple, really. You can place divine symbols, objects, icons. If you place these about the place, if you place them in your personal space, if you place them by the bed, in your bedroom, on a shrine or altar, then these icons, these will help you to bring the divine energy in. So here we have Bastet. We had Mary. We had Aphrodite. Here we have Sekhmet. Here's a little Isis enthroned. Here we have a little winged Isis pendant. It's quite funny, this one, because it's not the best quality, but to be honest, when it comes to divine magic, it's all about the intention. So if you're intending to connect with a deity, if you're putting that intention out there to be connected with this deity, to ask for a certain thing. For instance, say if you're wanting divine protection, and then just putting that energy out there and just thinking it, it's going to help tune you into that deity's energy and call upon the divine energy, which I was speaking about. Okay, so there's, as well as deities, there is ascended masters as well. Almost forgot to mention that I'm wearing my Stropulus key. So the Stropulus is Hecate's wheel. If you can see that. So Hecate's wheel, and also skulls are sacred symbols of Hecate as well as the key. Because Hecate is the road opener. So that's another way of tapping into divine magic. So when I talk about Hecate, if you've not seen the other videos, then you may not know who I mean if you're not aware of Hecate. So this is a depiction I have of Hecate here from the mythic oracle. Okay. So Hecate is the goddess of witches, the goddess of magic. So she's a triple goddess. So she has dominion over earth, heaven, and the underworld. It's interesting that when I was talking about Hecate, I was drawn to pick up the dragon again. So yeah, that's a bit Hecate coming through, because Hecate's chariot is pulled by dragons. I also have a little elephant figurine here. So placing an elephant such as this one around would assist you in tapping into the energies of Ganesh. So Ganesh is the Hindu deity for good fortune and abundance, as well as other things, I'm sure. I want to say obstacle remover. That's vaguely in the back of my head. I hope I'm remembering that correctly. But yeah, Ganesh. Any form of animal will have a connection to some deity in some form, in some place in the world, which is quite interesting. Had personal power, we've had divine power, divine or cosmic energy. So we also have the third type of energy. So the third type of energy comes from the elemental realms. So the four elements of earth, air, water and fire, and the elementals of each element. So we have dragons and jinns for the element of fire. Although you can get dragons of all of the elements actually, so. But yeah, they're mostly known for their connection to the element of fire. Although, yeah, you do get dragons of all of the elements, and you get celestial dragons as well. Actually, I have my dragon cards over there. Dragons, fairies, nature spirits, so spirits of sacred places such as spirits of the lake, spirits of the woods, so Jack of the Green Forest, such places like that. Puck. So nature spirits, they're the other way. Gnomes as well. So these are all ways of tapping into elemental energy. So there's devas. So devas are usually inside natural things. So there's like every crystal has a deva inside. So every crystal is alive as well. So when you go into deep meditation, you may begin to channel the deva within that crystal. I do find that very interesting to do candle magic. That's another form of elemental magic. So plants and trees and pharmacia. So I spoke about this a bit before when I was doing my plant magic video and maybe the Hecate video too. Okay, so pharmacia is basically the ancient Greek name for the sacred tradition of working with plants, of attuning to the plants and building a relationship with them, much in the way that sacred cacao practitioners connect with that beautiful cacao, and other traditioners such as happy, the people who do the snuff, which is happy in South American tradition. So these different traditions where you build a connection with the plant, you build it kind of becomes a way of life, just as the different plants. We can do this with all of the plants. There's so many plants out there. So put some in your hand, have a feel for them. Don't just go by what it tells you in the textbook. So if you picked up the Witch's Bible or Christopher Penzak's spell book on this, that, or Silver Ravenwolf's book on witchcraft, and the cat snoring. Am I that boring, Lulu? Don't just go by what it tells you inside the book. Use your own intuition, build a connection with the plants, and tap into their energy in your own way. That is number 3. Next, I just wanted to mention the different actions. I think I may have mentioned some of them already. So these different actions are for tapping into the different forms of energy. So you may dance, you may use breath work, meditation, channeling, light language, soul songs, chanting. So we did use chanting. And next, tapping into places of power. So tapping into ley lines, going to sacred places, stone circles, places with vortexes. So like, you may find that if you're walking through a graveyard or if you're walking through the forest, you'd suddenly stumble on a place which you feel really tingly. So these places are vortexes, and places like the stone circles I was talking about, Castle Reagan, and the most popular one is Stonehenge, of course. So these places are connected with vortexes and ley lines. Go into different places, and there's other sacred places. So there's sacred temples, there's the pyramids, the Great Wall of China. There's all sorts of amazing places out there in the world. So all of these different places have energy, and you can tune into the energy. And here I have some of the sacred sites cards. So I will show you a few. Interesting that one popped up. So that's a card for the Vatican. Let's see. Jerusalem. Stonehenge. I was just talking about that. Stonehenge. Newgrange. I can't say that one. Göbekli Tepe. Angkor Wat. So these are all Gaza pyramids. So just looking and meditating at images of these places will help you to tune into the places and tune into the energies, even if you're not able to physically go to them. You can meditate on them. You may do soul journeying, sort of like astral projection, travel into these places by focusing on moving your soul or your spirit to these places on the 12th dimension. There's tapping into the places, into the energy of the places. So another way of tapping into different energies is receiving an attunement. An attunement, I wrote, is magnetizing or fixing your energy to a specific frequency. If you go to learn Reiki or Sekhem, healing practices such as these, you will most likely receive an attunement if you're doing it right. So yeah, if you have an authentic teacher, you will receive an attunement. If you get a magnet and if you hit a paper clip or a similar metallic items so many times with the magnet, if you rub the magnet on that metallic item so many times, then that paper clip eventually becomes magnetic and will have the same sort of magnetic pull. So this is what an attunement does as well. So when Reiki practitioners, Sekhem practitioners, or whichever energy modality you're using, when you have received an attunement from a master of that practice, you then are attuned into that energy frequency. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to do was just to honour Tina Turner by talking about the collective consciousness and the mystic law mantra. So the collective consciousness is another form of energy. So this form of energy comes with, like, when we're thinking about oneness and unity and having a group intention. So if you think about Buddhists, like I think all Buddhists kind of do the whole unity thing. They do group meditations and they all focus on one thing. But especially, I know the Buddhist tradition, which I'm sure Tina Turner used because she used this mantra a lot, is called Nichiren Buddhism, and that they use the mystic law mantra. So that's Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. So I did want to chant a little bit of that. So basically, the collective energy is all about unity and intention. So when we, as a group, when we come together and when we set an intention, we're tapping into the collective energy. So doing stuff like chanting, doing light work together, or light work is a big collective. So if there's light workers all over the planet, we're all doing our bit. So we're working as a collective and we're working with the collective energy. Okay. I'll read you a little bit of information. I'll keep it very brief. Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. The Nam is a Sanskrit word derived from namas, which is taken to express devotion. It's the same root for the more familiar namaste. I bow to the divinity within you. So Myoho translates roughly to wonderful law, or mystic law, or the karmic law. So it's to do with cause and effect, which is considered by Buddhists to be the ultimate law of the universe. Renge translates to lotus. Lotus flower seeds bloom at the same time, representing simultaneity of cause and effect. Once a person has made a cause, the effect has already taken place, but might not manifest until later. Kyo translates to sutra teaching, or the voice of the Buddha. So Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo, Nam Myoho Renge Kyo. So why I thought this was very significant and important was because this is a chant which Tina Turner is famous for using, and I thought it was perfect to honour her today, as Tina Turner passed away today when I'm filming this video. So rest in peace, Tina Turner. And I'll just say this chant a few times. Feel free to say along with me. I will leave the words in the description. Myoho Renge Kyo, 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 Myoho Renge Kyo. Okay, so thank you all for watching. I hope there is some useful information in here for you. I hope you did enjoy the video. So that there is lots of different types of energy, so we've not even touched the surface of this yet. So basically in this video my aim was just to make you aware that there's so many different types of energy out there, and there's so many different ways of tapping into that energy. So in future videos I will be delving more deeply into some of the subjects, such as I want to be delving into galactic energies, talking about the Ascended Masters and the 7 Rays. I'm always talking about crystals. I'd like to talk more about dragon energy. There's so many pointers in here that I want to talk more about. So I want to talk about Atlantis, Lemuria. So these are all cosmic energies. I want to talk about the void. I want to talk about the galactics and starseeds. So I will be talking about a lot of these stuff soon. So another way which I almost forgot to mention is using sacred geometry. So just writing magical words and symbols in sacred geometry. Writing them down is another easy way of tapping into the energy. And if you've written a magical word down, or if you've written a magical symbol, you can just fold up that piece of paper and then just put it in your pocket, and you're carrying that energy around with you. Apollo's light surround me, Athena's wisdom guide me, Poseidon's waters guard me. Apollo's light surround me, Athena's wisdom guide me, Poseidon's waters guard me. Apollo's light surround me, Athena's wisdom guide me, Poseidon's waters guard me. So mote it be. Thank you for tuning in. Please do hit that subscribe button, and please do come back to watch some more and check out some of the other videos. Goodbye. Alright, thank you for tuning in, and I will see you next time.